So we've just finished our second session of Bible study for the week, and I wanted to share with you one of the passages we've just been studying because I think it helps us understand one of the concepts that Swedenborg shares when he speaks about the Bible, and that is appearances. I will say, if you feel like joining us for Bible study, you would be most welcome to do so. You'll need to sign up to our weekly update. You'll find a link in the description to this video. We're currently working our way through the minor prophets of the Old Testament. So the particular chapter we've covered this week is Hosea chapter 7, and I'm going to start with verse 11. Ephraim also is like a silly dove without sense. They call to Egypt, they go to Assyria. Now, if you've ever watched pigeons, you will know the seemingly random way in which they move around. Bear in mind that a pigeon is a prey animal, so they move around in a less predictable manner, so they're much less likely to be caught by a predator. Although the pigeon or the dove has every reason to move around in its seemingly random way, to us it makes no sense, and this is the image that this Bible passage is calling upon. Then as we read further on, wherever they go, I will spread my net on them. I will bring them down like birds of the air. I will chastise them according to what their congregation has heard. Woe to them, for they have fled from me. Destruction to them, because they have transgressed against me. Though I redeemed them, yet they have spoken lies against me. They did not cry out to me with their heart when they wailed upon their beds. I'm going to suggest to you that these words are subject to exactly the same kinds of appearances as the appearance of the dove. The perspective of God looking at his people is not the perspective that we see as people looking at God. And yet the Bible is written in a way which reflects and speaks to my perception of God rather than God's perception of me. So we often ask, how can the God of love bring about the destruction of his people? And the reality is that he doesn't. If God is love, he can only act in loving ways. So where does this appearance come from? Well, it comes from our own perspective. Because when we act in selfish and inconsiderate ways, we will very often go seeking someone else to blame for the consequences of our actions. And more often than not, God is the fall guy. The Bible is written in those appearances because we need to be able to read and understand it. And yet the Bible calls us to a greater and a deeper understanding. It is a divine truth that the Lord is never angry, never punishes anyone, let alone does evil to anyone, and that from the Lord nothing but good ever comes. Nevertheless, in its earliest stages, this truth declares that the Lord is angry when someone sins, and that the Lord therefore punishes. Indeed, with some people it declares that evil comes from the Lord. But as a person progresses from early childhood, grows up and matures in judgment, he casts away that which from the appearance seemed to him to be the truth, and gradually takes up the truth itself, which is that the Lord is never angry and does not punish, let alone perform evil. Accordingly, it is by means of apparent truth that a person is introduced into actual truth. So I hope you can see what's going on here. The Bible speaks to us in terms that we can understand, in terms that we relate to. It speaks to us in the way we see things. But its aim is always to lead us to something truer, better, deeper. I wonder if you reflect on your experience of reading the Bible, or perhaps your experience of life and the way that you have grown and matured, whether you can see this happening. As always, I'm very happy to engage in conversation with you, so please do put something down in the comments. Keep it friendly, and I look forward to seeing you next time.